Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something you guys really need to hear, but some of you won't want to hear, but it will set you free from most of your problems. Today's video topic is about, well, you could have guessed it by the title. Not everything is spiritual. Not everything is physical. Now I'm going to go into depth about what this actually means because you'll save yourselves a lot of time by listening to this word of advice. Physical law runs alongside spiritual law. So you have to understand also spiritual law runs alongside physical and physical runs along spiritual. Now, the thing is, you guys have to realize that you have to take both physical factors, which is taking care of yourself, and energy factors, which is spirituality, into the equation. Yeah, you have to. I mean, I'm going to get to this point right now. In the world, and this is 99% of psychics. There are a very small portion of psychics that will tell you, like, hey, you're actually really hurting yourself by doing this. But first of all, psychics will, and this is why someone will go to 5, 10, 20 different psychics and none of them know why anything is going on. And that person's lost without help, thinking they're cursed. That person thinks they're screwed. They think they're really, really screwed. They're just going to be out in the world, this person's cursed me so bad that I can't live my life. That doesn't happen if you give yourself to God. Now, and I mean, when you're a genuinely good person and you're not engaging on psychic attacks, you're not getting hit with curses like you think you are. And most of the time, the people who you think are cursing you don't have enough energy to even bless, let alone they're their own curse to themselves. So anytime they try to do something with you, it usually goes back to them anyway. But when you get hit with their inconvenience energies. Now, let's talk about this right now. There are certain people who have gone to a psychic and have had something like a headache, right? And the headache's because you're dehydrated and you don't eat. Now, the psychic a psychic should know. The angels don't do readings, but usually the spirits with the psychic will tell them, like, hey, this person's not eating. Like, it's been 3 days and this person has been drinking nothing but coffee. Like, this is really hurting the person. What the psychic is supposed to say is, hey, take care of your physical self, versus, oh, yeah, looks like you stepped through some energy. Looks like you're cursed. I'll remove it for $1,000, and guess what? $1,000 later, you're not getting helped. You're actually worse off than you started. They try to do something energetically with you when you're just not eating. You don't have any nutrients. Now you're not only you have $1,000 less versus getting help. So that person basically essentially stole from you energy. Because their energy went into you, they stole from you time and money. When the answer is just drink more water. Or just eat nutrients. That's it. So you have to take care of the physical body. You have to realize that not everything is spiritual. Ooh, there's a lot of people out here like this. So some people will switch their laundry detergent and they'll go absolutely insane. They'll have these allergies and they'll be just, why did someone do some kind of black magic on me? And I'll ask the person, okay, I'll ask every single equation. I mean, I am not a spiritual reader, although I know what will help you guys the most and where most problems originate from. So most people are easily helped. Crystals do the job for most people. But the thing is, if the problem's not spiritual, you gotta treat the physical problems. So if you're having all these outbreaks due to you being allergic and you're itchy all the time, you have to look at what you just did in the past week. And this is the essence of being a stable person, is that if you switch your laundry detergent and you are someone of you have schedules and you're following certain things, so you can go back into your week and look at what you did. And you're like, I removed the laundry, I changed my laundry detergent, and this is why I'm breaking out. It's not that someone's evil-eyeing you. No, in certain cases, and this is actually the case, and this is most of the time, this is a good 90% of the time for people who don't believe in spirituality, people who don't believe in chakras, energy. I mean, these people get the hardest awakenings, but they never wake up. Like, they get the biggest alarm clock, like, beep, 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 and they'll hit snooze. Like, really? Really? So there's two sides of the spectrum. There's a side where people are just too spiritual, and they're going to psychics, and the psychics are like, oh, you're cursed again. Yeah, gotta remove the curse. Another $5,000, and they're doing curse removals that don't do anything because you're not cursed. Versus, hey, you need nutrients. You get the nutrients you need. Then when you're feeling good, then you can. You're not cursed. So you can use crystals such as, and even before that, if someone comes to me and they're just like, okay, everything's this, and that, I'll ask questions. I'll be like, okay, let's look into your life. Are you doing this properly, this properly, this properly? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting nutrients? If the person says no, I'll recommend a certain nutrient versus black tourmaline first. But if I know if the problem is actually the person has a bunch of negative energy, then I'll prescribe the black tourmaline, okay? And guess what? The black tourmaline will work better because that person's physically aligned with their spiritual bodies. Now, let's go to the other factor. So this is the people who actually have the problems the most with their... Basically the people in the world who think that everything is... spirituality is like, no, spirituality's not real. I'm not into that. Yeah, that's basically saying you're not into helping the other side of yourself. Humans are two sides. We are physical and we are spiritual. For anyone who doesn't believe that, I don't understand how someone can... people will deny things happening in front of their face. Like, there's been whole events with certain people, like, oh, they've seen an angel appear in front of them and basically just say a certain set of words about, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. And they're like, well, I'm pretty sure that was real. It's like... Wake up! If that doesn't wake you up, then what will? You'll get to afterlife and you'll be like, well, I think I'm a spirit now. I think there is an afterlife. Whew. I don't know how some people don't wake up. That's a choice. That's flat out a choice at that point. That person's choosing to not accept knowledge. But and there has been cases angels have, or just beings have fully appeared in front of people, and people are like, well, I think energy's real. I got haunted once, and this poltergeist did a backflip after juggling my furniture. People haven't. No one said that. Someone said something along the lines of that, and that made them realize that energy is real. Is that because they got haunted for a couple of years straight, and if a couple of years straight, because there's some people who don't believe spirituality exists or anything spiritual exists, and they think spirits are ghosts, which I'll talk about in the future. What's the difference between a spirit and a ghost? A spirit is basically you're a spirit. If you're watching this video, you have a spirit inside of your flesh watching my video. Something about you craved healing and growth and empowerment. Now, and if you're someone who craves additional healing, growth, and empowerment, check out FloridaStoneman.com. I bless all my gemstones myself, and they're extremely powerful and life-changing. But back to the topic. For people who don't believe spirituality exists at all, those people hit the strongest blockages of the spiritual world. That person, because like I said, we are two sides. We are both flesh and we're both spirit. And then the third party is basically, most importantly, God. So that's what we return to. We start in the world with only Him, and then we leave the world with only Him. So when it comes to taking care of yourself, if you just neglect your spirituality, you're going to have all these different kind of chakra blockages, and your day-to-day life will just have minor inconveniences of you not being able to get ahead. And guess what that does? That sets you back. But if you just take care of the little tiniest things, even wearing a necklace from FloridaStoneman.com, you won't have to deal with 90% of the negative energy every single day. The necklace that I make, specifically black tourmaline, I don't sponsor anyone else's websites. I don't, because I used to just say black tourmaline in general. My tourmaline is real tourmaline. You guys have gone a year. A couple of you have gone over a year, and you're like, well, you suggested black tourmaline, but it doesn't work because you have glass from Five Below, sir/ma'am. If you want real tourmaline, go to FloridaStoneman.com and you'll see real change in your life. But the thing is, when people just neglect spirituality and people don't even think crystals exist, people who think crystals are just rocks. And I'm like, they're holding minerals that actually do things on a physical basis as well. I don't teach about that, but other channels will. I'm not going to teach about that because my lane is spirituality, and other channels are like, well, this crystal does this, and that. I'm not teaching about that. That's not what I'm going to be teaching on YouTube or on TikTok, etc. You guys can find that on your own because that's really easy. And it's I can say it's the more because I do 100,000 disclaimers. It's the more risky of stuff to teach because that kind of stuff, like the physical benefits of stones, like I said, that's just you can just look it up on other channels or find it online. That's it. They're minerals, okay? They help you. Minerals do things. But when it comes to the people just neglecting their spirituality, a lot of the reason these people out here who don't care about spirituality at all cannot get ahead is because they're dealing with negative energy that can be easily cleared away, such as black tourmaline. But they deny spirituality, they deny that energy is really taking effect in their lives, and that person does not ever get help, and they won't ever get ahead, and that person lives in just a mess of energies that could be easily dispersed, realigned, broken up, and that person never gets ahead. So you know a bunch of people like that. Take someone you know right now. This is an interactive part of the video. Guys, women and ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies. Okay, I have to come up with more interaction mechanisms. Take someone you know, guys. Take someone you know. Okay, it might be a family member. It's mostly family members. Take that family member. As if you grab them. Take that family member. Take someone you know. Name them out loud, and just be like, just someone you know who does not care about spirituality, who neglects it, who doesn't do anything spiritual, who doesn't do anything. Take that person. Say their name out loud right now. Say it right now. And then, after you say their name out loud, think about the problems that they have. Name 3 problems that they have. So let's just say, Alexa. I know Alexa. She doesn't care about spirituality at all. Name 3 problems, and when I'm talking about other people's problems, you're learning from their problems so you don't repeat it. If you feel like going through their problems to learn from their problems, I'm someone who looks at other people's problems to avoid them. Some people like to go through other people's problems and still not learn, but I'm teaching you guys how to learn from other people's problems so you don't become that person. So you can strive and succeed and be prosperous and do extremely well in both the physical and spiritual worlds. Because when we go into the next world, if you haven't learned here, you have learning to do there. So take one person, right? Now you're like, okay, name 3 problems. I hope you guys came up with 3. So Alexa, she fights and argues a lot. She's losing friends all the time. No. She has really, really bad... This is actually the thing. She has really bad friends around her, giving her really bad advice. And... let's just say she's having night terrors. Like that, and she can't sleep, and then she's a mess during the day. So whatever 3 examples you guys just named out loud, ask yourself. Be like, is this a problem that's more physical? Because the people who flat out ignore spirituality are they'll be like, okay, they'll go to a doctor and they'll get help for certain things, but if they're having a demon standing over their bed at 3 a.m. every single night yelling and screaming at them, they're going to send you to the psych ward. So ask yourself, is their problem physical or spiritual? And you're thinking about it, like, if this person had a crystal such as black tourmaline, the friends would be cut off, Alexa's friends would be cut off, the demon would be warded off, and the thing wouldn't get into the house in the first place, and she would be clean of the negative energy, and she would not be a mess all throughout her day because her energies are together, and she's not having night terrors by a demon. But that's someone who doesn't acknowledge spirituality at all. Those people have the most blockages just due to energy. And those people, essentially, the ones who have light inside of them will move closer to things that will heal them. So their angels will... Those people have some angels that stick around and be like, hey, if you try this, or, if you just meditate for 30 minutes, or like if you just hop in the ocean, and that'll cleanse you of the baggage that you've gone through with your work throughout the day, or like the angels will be so sweet and nice. The guardians are still there. They're weak, but they're there. The guardians are fighting for that person. That person might not be praying for themselves. They might be praying. If they're praying, then their guardian's more armored, but they'll eventually get led to certain things in spirituality. That's why people find out about Himalayan salt lamps. People are like, well, And people normally get Himalayan salt lamps when they're under a bunch of negative energy. Their angels are like, Himalayan salt, put it in your house. And they're just like, and something will pop up on their phones like a Himalayan salt lamp. And the person will be like, oh, the person will crave spirituality. They'll be like, whoa, the Himalayan salt lamps are beautiful. I don't know why, but I just want this in my house. Ah! That's actually one thing too. I thought about that in the past. But the person who is overly physical will always get presented spirituality and kind of crave it or just fully deny it. The person who's overly spiritual, they'll go to mediums and psychics and people who will just be like, your problem, you're super cursed, and the curse is very vicious. You can't take it off. That's never true. If someone says if you can't remove a curse, that person's being a curse towards you. Use a crystal such as black tourmaline. It vacuums anything that's already done into the stone. It blocks psychic manipulation and manipulation from other people, and it releases it. You cleanse and charge it, and it's gone. Make sure you're cleansing and charging, or it's just holding on to it. And do it every single day. And then it just takes care of your problems. So that person, if that person, the overly spiritual person's problem is not spiritual, that person will go their entire lives trying to find solutions for something that's probably physical. If you're someone who has gone through so many psychics and mediums and you're having all these different things happen to you spiritually that you just can't have an answer for, or it's not working, then you have to evaluate the physical world. What patterns are you doing? Are you blaming everyone else for your problems except for yourself? Or are you taking self-accountability and you're working on things? Number 2, are you having problems such as headaches and that did you ask a doctor? Did you go to a different doctor, etc.? Number 3, if you're someone who everything you're doing doesn't seem to work spiritually, but you're too spiritual. Like, okay, if something happens, if something falls down, did you put it on sideways, or did you before the dresser fell down, did it have all its legs? Is everything lining up before you tripped and fell? Were you in a rush? Did you drink too much coffee? Were you talking to the wrong people that you should have just not talked to? I mean, some things with physical and spiritual will go inside each other. That's why you have to take into account, because physical law and spiritual law run along the same line, so you take account of both. You're never too spiritual and you're never too physical. People ask me, are you spiritual? Because they'll see all the gemstones and they'll be like, are you spiritual? I'm like, I am both physical and spiritual. And you guys can use this as a response as well. I am both physical and spiritual. I address matters in both the physical and spiritual worlds to create harmony on this plane of existence. And the person will be like, you thought you were spiritual. But the thing is, guys, take care of both physical and spiritual aspects. You're a spirit watching my video inside of flesh. When you go to bed tonight, you're going into the pockets of consciousness where when you wake up, it's a miracle that you're alive again because you just came back from something that's the closest thing to death, which is sleep. But if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!